Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Wayne, author of Broken Ceasefire and Xander's Salvation. Both of these books are available on the Amazon bookstore under my author name of W.A. Blinko. Broken Ceasefire is also available on Apple, Google and many other platforms if that's where you prefer to get your content. So in today's video I'm just going to firstly apologise for the lack of content, and this has been down to the fact that I'm working really hard on the sequel to Broken Ceasefire and there isn't really much happening behind the scenes apart from me writing. So what I would like to do today though is just run through a book that I've been listening to on Audible and the tips and tricks that it's given me to progress my career as a self-published author. Something with the writing industry that you're possibly not aware of if you're still just starting out like I have been, and that is the amount of different hats that you have to wear. Obviously the writer hat is the predominant one, you'd think, but then you also have to find an editor and do some of the editing yourself, because that'll save you a little bit of money and it will help polish off the book. And then you've got to find a cover design as well. So unless you're a graphic design artist, then again that's something that you're going to have to learn a little bit of skill as to how to format it possibly for your book, but you're definitely going to have to contact other people in order to get the cover design that you want. Then you're going to have to become an advertiser, because in order to promote your book you're going to have to advertise it, and you're going to have to learn keywords and key phrases and all that stuff. I'm still learning that myself. I wouldn't profess to be a professional on keywords or anything right now, but again it's a skill that I'm learning. The other thing of course is you're going to have to be some sort of financial expert as well, and complete tax forms unless you can afford an accountant. So unfortunately I don't cover under many of those brackets, so a lot of those skills I've had to learn myself. Something with the self-publishing journey is, or any writing journey, is it can seem like a lonely road, and to many degrees it is, but there are other options there for you. You can join a writing sprint, as I have done in the past, and I will continue to use writing sprints in the future because they are a great way of connecting with other authors, and it takes away the loneliness with writing, because you can sit in a group on YouTube mainly, sometimes on Twitch, and you can talk to other writers that are in a similar situation to yourself. So book review then. I've been listening to a book on Audible because I find Audible really easy to consume the content, because you just listen to it in the car or when you've got a spare 5 minutes. And the book that I've been listening to at the moment is The Common Habits of Successful People. Now this is by Brian James. It's really good. I highly recommend it to anybody that wants to start off with any small business, because it can help you focus, and it explains things that in a nice detailed way without being too complicated. One of the things that being a self-published author, it seems like you have to move a mountain, and the book covers this by simply explaining that when you look at it, you might look at the task of writing a 100,000 worded novel as the mountain. So that's your mountain, and if you leave it until the very last minute, so if you've set yourself a target date for the end of the year, like I have for the sequel to Broken Ceasefire, if you wait and wait and wait, and then by the time the end of the year comes, the size of the task is just going to put you off. And it did. Writing a book is no easy feat, and it can seem like the proverbial mountain. And if you look at it as the mountain, then you can get a little bit apprehensive and not want to carry on, or it just becomes too daunting for you. Well, the tip that Brian's come up in the book is simply: a man can move a mountain. This is how he words it, more or less. A man can move a mountain by moving a wheelbarrow of earth per day. And if you break that day down over a month, 2 months, 3 months, then that mountain does become smaller and smaller until you've moved it. And you could take 6 months to move it, but it is possible and it is doable. And I found that really interesting, because that is exactly how I look at some of the writing. 50,000 words, you know. Now if I want this book published by the end of February, then you'd look at it and think, my gosh, this is a hell of a lot of words, this is the mountain that needs to be moved. But by concentrating and remaining focused and doing 5,000 words a day, well, you know, 10 days time you've got your 50,000, haven't you? So it's really explains really nicely how to break down tasks and how to get out of things like procrastination, where it's easier to sit down and play video games, watch TV, get stuck in a soap and whatnot, when your focus should really be on your book. The other thing that it explains, and I would totally agree with, is don't really beat yourself up. If you've set yourself the goal, like I have, by completing this manuscript for Broken Ceasefire for the end of this year, then that is my goal. And if I do go over it, if I don't reach it for whatever reason, then I'm going to focus and get it completed as soon as I can after the end of the year in order to complete the task. And it explains things like that in such an easy way and an understandable way as well, that it is really worth a listen. So yeah, I would certainly recommend, if you haven't listened to it or read the book, then do go out and get a copy and then come back here and tell me if you think I'm right or wrong about it. But I do find that it's got great tips and great suggestions to keep you focused. And the thing as well with the audiobook that I've enjoyed is when I've gone, like I haven't listened to it for a little while, but it's so easy, again, it's the convenience of listening to it in the car. So if I get a little bit down or I think that something's not quite working out, then I will go back and re-listen to the particular chapters. So that's where I'm going to really finish off this video, and I hope you've appreciated it and it's given you some insight as to what's going on at the moment. And as I say, do go and check it out. I'll just read it again for you. So it is Common Habits of Successful People by Brian James, and that's the cover. So it is really worth a listen to or a read. The audiobook goes on for about an hour and a half, so again, it's not too long, and something you can complete in a couple of school runs if that's what you're doing, or trips to work. So that's where I'm going to end this video. Thank you very much for watching me and supporting me with my journey of self-publishing. I hope I've been as helpful to you in your journey, and if you've got any questions or comments, then do leave them in the box below. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be back very soon with possibly another book review. Thank you very much.